What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the teampawz channel. Today we're going to be going over Cinderace. This is just a guide for all of you guys that's trying to get into it. Me personally, I've been using Cinderace for at least a week now. Definitely climbing my way up to Master Ball, and I just want to give you guys some of the tips and tricks that I've been using up until now to basically climb my way through the ranks. Some mistakes I made. There'll be plenty of videos coming soon as well that I'm dropping of all the games that I played with Cinderace, basically from start to finish, wins and losses. But basically this video is just to cover the basic concepts of the Stellar Crown deck, explaining what it is, how it differs from other deck archetypes in the format, and it will discuss the strategy behind utilizing Pokemon with the abilities and things such as control over most of the elements in the game. So let's get into a couple key cards and combos that you would need. This section is really just to delve into the specific Pokemon cards and the support cards that form the backbone of this Stellar Forces, the Stellar Crown deck. It would highlight powerful combinations and stuff that you will need to overcome most of the people that you go against and ultimately secure the victory, right? So first and foremost, Cinderace, right? So you have a main attack here, and we also have a snipe, right? Now, a lot of people have been hyping up that Cinderace has no retreat cost, and it has a snipe, and it has a main attack. But I will go ahead and explain to you early that the snipe is hard to set up, right? So in this, what you're going to run into is the need for Pidgeot, and then you're going to have a secondary need for Rare Candy and Crispin, because the way you guys play the energies, right? So you have to keep in mind you have 4 Scorbunnies. You're going to need 2 in play majority of the game. You're going to need 2 because you have to swap between them, because you can only do 280 and 280 with one Cinderace at a time. The snipe is like if they try to swap something out, and maybe there's just a lower V on the, you know what I'm saying, what if I have Defiance Band and there's just a lower V sitting in the back, I could boss it, or I could snipe it on the, I could just go ahead and snipe it from where I am in the active. But that is just to secure the first 2 prizes, right? The last prize will most likely be taken by Radiant Charizard, so Radzard. So your first 2 kills of any EX or V will come from Cinderace. You'll never play Fez, you'll never play Pidgeot, right? Rotom is not attacking, Lumineon is not attacking. It's going to be Cinderace, so you have to have 2 Cinderace set up off rip. And then Radiant will clean up whatever V or whatever else is just hanging out on the opponent's bench. Most likely, that is the game plan. So, if you keep that in mind, what you have to figure out next is how to get the energies on the Cinderace. So this is where, when you first start out, you'll probably have some trouble with this, right? Getting energy on Cinderace. And you solve that a little bit with double turbo. So most likely your first Cinderace is going to do 260, not 280, because you need to attack quick. And you're going to use double turbo and 1 basic energy, right? So the first Cinderace probably is not a sniper. The second Cinderace most likely is the sniper. Keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out who to save with your Turo, right? There will be a time for that, and I'll get to that. Now, I will say that when you only have 4 rare candies, it would be my suggestion to you, unless you're in dire need of an attacker, to get Pidgeot first. Because if you get Pidgeot like mid-game or closer to the end, it makes the game harder. Because you're going to be in a race to constantly get Cinderace out, and you haven't put up Pidgeot. So then you're like constantly having to decide, like, do I want the Cinderace or do I want the Pidgeot? Do I want the Cinderace? Do I want the Pidgeot? When all you had to do was get Pidgeot first, and then you can build 2-3 Cinderaces later, because this is going to help you anyway. Does that make sense? So whenever, because the Cinderace is going to die, right? Cinderace or Rotom will most likely die. When that happens, that's when Fez kicks in, and you'll start your draws. If you are lucky enough to get Cleffa in the beginning of the game, they'll kill the Cleffa for you, and then Fez will now become active. You can start using Flip the Script. If nobody is dying, and you need a draw engine, and you're not setting up fast enough for Pidgeot, you need to now use Rotom. That way you can do the instant charge, and you can start getting into your draws, build up the Pidgeot. Now I can grab maybe like Arvin, you know what I mean? Like maybe I can grab Arvin. This will get me my rare candy. Now I can build Pidgeot. Now I can quick search for maybe like Feather Ball, or just get straight to Cinderace, like whatever I need at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you understand, like, small recap of that, as long as you understand Pidgeot first, Cinderace second, unless you're in dire need of an attacker, because you will need this Pidgeot. If you did not get Cleffa and nobody is dying, like none of your basics have died, like Scorbunny or Pidgey, so you can't use Fez, grab Rotom, right? And you can grab Rotom with the Nest Ball, and then put the Nest Ball back in your deck later so that you can get Radiant Charizard at the end, right? So 2 Cinderace kills, then a Radzard finish is usually how the game goes. Now that we've explained that, let's get into some deck building tips and strategies. I know y'all want to mix and match cards and figure out how this would actually look. I will say I played them. I've done the research for you already. You'll see when the videos drop. You can go back to playing Munkidori like some of the people were playing in the previous expansion that was released. Right? You could go back to playing Munkidori and fitting Munkidori into the deck, right? Because of the darkness energies, and maybe that is a solid option for like number 2. Playing Neo Upper is also an option if you want to fit Neo Upper into the deck. I do not suggest. I saw some Lost Box variations to the lines, and I tried it. I think Lost Box is just too clunky. It's not useful. It's too many energies that you got. You're already stressed out for energies with Cinderace anyway, and I'm gonna tell you how to get around that in just a second. But Lost Box variation is really not that great, and it kind of makes it to where you can't really use the Cinderace snipe move if you really need to. So you'd be stuck. You'd be stuck using just Flare Strike. I won't say stuck, but it'll be hard. It'd be really hard with the way Lost Box is set up. Like you'd be missing some key pieces to the deck. But those are some variations you could try. I don't mind Munkidori. Munkidori was not bad. I'm just trying to get away from it a little bit. Munkidori Frostlass type deals. But other than that, those are some options you guys can try. But I've already tried them for you. I'll post the videos. You'll see. You know what I mean? You'll see. It's not good enough. This is probably the V variation is probably the best one so far. So when you get into matchup analysis and, you know, understanding how Stellar Crown decks match up against different opponents is kind of crucial for success, especially when you're in the TCG format. You want to explore more of like the strengths and weaknesses of the deck against like popular archetypes that are in the current metagame. So I'm gonna give you some additional guidance on, you know, sideboarding techniques to adapt to specific matchups regarding like Dragapult, Charizard, Lugia is not that bad, Shinpao is not bad, Hydrapple, Palfin, Galvantula, these are easy wins for us. The real one is just Dragapult, Charizard. It's a little bit of a back and forth. I say I win like 2 out of 3 matches when it comes to Dragapult, Charizard. Like sometimes Charizard like powers up and he can't knock out Cinderace. Like he can't. But as you get towards the end and you like I said, because Charizard is also using this format, it's basically a race to who could get Pidgeot. And because Charizard automatically sets up its own fire energy, you have to constantly try to find like an energy to drop on here. So some of the cards that you could usually get with Pidgeot sometimes turns into you just quick searching for a pure energy, and that is not the right answer, but it is what it is. Sometimes you just need a straight up energy and you're like, bro, I got a magma basin out, or maybe it got knocked out, and like I got one fighting energy in my hand and I need a fire. Like sometimes you have to quick search straight up for just a energy. And some like if you get into some more like advanced tactics and play tips, which is like the final topic of this video that I want to talk about for the Stellar Crown decks, to use this pretty much to like the fullest potential without going in like super deep, like straight up matchup, like showing you card for card, which I might do a video on, like a masterclass. Just drop it in the comments, like if you guys want me to do a masterclass and show specifically in the matches that I'm gonna post, like how to fight, like what I'm thinking when I'm fighting. I kind of talk throughout most of those videos anyway, but how you should go about trying to fight them, I'll talk about it. But advanced strategies for leveraging some of the abilities to create board states to disrupt the other opponent's strategies. Featherball as much as possible. Remember that you only got 2 bosses. Alright, you have 2 bosses and a counter catcher. You have to keep this in mind, because sometimes stuff gets prized. So 2 bosses and a counter catcher. That's all you can pull so that you can finish 2 Cinderaces and a Charizard. That's all you can do. Right? 2 bosses. It's pretty much all you need. Now, Nest Ball is usually for Rotom and Radiant Charizard. Don't use it for anything else. Don't use the Nest Ball for anything else. Nest Ball is for either collecting the draw, because you just really need a draw, or maybe you don't want to use Iono, right? Maybe the opponent has like a bad hand, or they're like top deck mode, and you really don't want to use Iono. So Rotom works here, right? Then Sparkling Crystal cuts down the energies by 1. So this could be good for sniping the second Cinderace, the sniping Cinderace, because now you only need 2 energies. Or it can be good for your initial attacker Cinderace, because you really only need 1 fire. Excuse me, you really only need the double turbo. If you place a double turbo on the Cinderace and then you attach the Sparkling Crystal, now you can use the 280 swing early, right? No fire energy, because sometimes you are strapped for energies. You're not gonna always get Crispin. You might even, some people might even say you need to add an extra Crispin in here. That can be a variation that you play. Maybe need 2 Crispins. But I haven't felt like I needed 2 Crispins. I just make sure to get the Crispin back, right? I just make sure, like when you start using cards, I just make sure to get the Crispin back. That way, if I need to power up another Cinderace with Crispin, I can get the Crispin back. Like maybe I quick search it, or or I could use Lumineon, right? Grab the Crispin back. It just depends, like, how bad is your energy management? How bad is it in the moment, right? Because it's random. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. The energy management was like the first like hill you have to overcome, and then everything's good. It's good from that point forward. Once you get used to it, it's not bad. Because you'll start using Magma Basin whenever one Cinderace gets knocked out. You're just waiting on Radzard. Like, really. Like, you should have knocked out something with this first Cinderace. Right? If you double turbo, use the crystal. This Cinderace, the first Cinderace should have knocked out something while you set up the second Cinderace. Right? While you set up the second sniping Cinderace. If you can't set it up, Rotom and Fez is your best friend. Cleffa if you still got it. And then remember that Radzard is probably going to use you're going to use the Nest Ball for Radzard. You're going to quick search it. Whatever you need to do. Get the final knockout when it starts getting down to the 2-2 of the end game, right? And then remember, you only got 2 bosses. So if you get the ball to get Charizard, Nest Ball to get Charizard, now you can quick search, get the boss. Now you can boss, you win the game. As long as you keep that formula, this is a great deck. Like 2-2 and then Charizard. Like, as long as you keep that formula, this is not that bad. You just have to remember that the Cinderaces have to knock out an EX at some point. And it's pretty hard for you to mess this up. You probably won't use Counter Catcher that much because you do tend to stay ahead in the prize count. But it happens when, like, Cleffa gets knocked out, a Pidgey gets knocked out, right? Just because you're setting up, right? Just because you're setting up. That's probably the only time this comes into play, and you pull one of the 2s forward, Cinderace, Rad Charizard, right? So you technically are up, right? But be careful. You just gotta keep it in mind. Other than that, like I said, making sure the trade tactics on Dragon Ball Charizard is pretty much key. You don't really have anything like any of the turbo decks. I haven't really found a problem with them. No problems with the turbo decks whatsoever. It's usually just Dragon Ball Charizard. I think I lost 1 game to like a Cinderace, but not really, bro. Like it's pretty. Cinderace is up there. Cinderace is up there. Like you're good. You're good. I haven't really run into problems, right? And it doesn't get like ability locked and stuff like that. And as long as you, like I said, as long as you get the Pidgeot out and you're making your moves, it's not that bad at all. You guys will have fun. Other than that, if you have any questions, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a question in the comment. I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos in this format, just like I've always done. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.